In this interview, I'm meeting up with Koen de Boschere, and Koen is professor on the University of Ghent, but also the coordinator of HighPeak. And HighPeak is an organization bringing together a very rich community of researchers, students, and companies all around high-performance computer systems and applications. Koen, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Wilson.
I must say, a very rich community of people all involved in high computer systems here in Europe.
Yes, we are. Currently, we have a network of around 2,500 specialists in computing in Europe. And it's quite diverse, so it ranges from high-performance computing on the high-end spectrum, but it also goes to IoT and cyber-physical systems on the low end of the spectrum. So, and from both from industry and from academia. So we have PhD students, but we also have C-level people from industry.
Yep. Yeah. As I feel, I've been reading through your magazines. Indeed, it goes all over the place. Is this the policy of HighPeak, just to get as much as possible people involved in high-performance computer system, or is it just happening?
No, it's on purpose. It's so we are funded by the European Commission. They launch calls, and we react to these calls with a proposal that we want to continue our network, and of course work on the objectives of the call. And so the main theme is actually high performance computing, but not only in a data center or in a supercomputer, but also high performance computing in more embedded systems, like a modern car is actually a fast computer running on wheels.
Yeah.
So we need actually the same technology that we would use in the supercomputing, but also in applications like a car. They have to be smart. They have to recognize license plates and traffic signs, etc. And you need a lot of compute power to do that.
Yeah.
That's binds us together.
Yeah. That brings together the whole community. What is because you are coordinating this whole organization? What is your vision? Is there a sort of a single point on the horizon where you say, okay, this is where I would like to focus on, or is it just let as many flowers bloom as possible? How's your idea on that?
Well, we are a network, and so the network are the members. So the members do what they want to do, of course. What we want to do is, our goal is to make Europe stronger. So bring people together. You have to know that 20 years ago, before HighPeak existed, we met our colleagues, our European colleagues, in American conferences. And so the PhD students didn't get there, so there was no network of PhD students. Now we have local events in Europe. We have 4 per year, 2 networking events, a major conference and a major summer school, which means that now we have a very strong European network. And by bringing all these people together, we want to make the European computing community stronger.
Yeah.
And I think it's correct to say that we succeeded in that. Now we have this European brand, HighPeak. Everybody knows HighPeak in our domain, and it's considered a strong brand and a high-quality brand of computing in Europe.
Yeah. How, in your opinion, is the actual state of high-performance computing in Europe?
Well, Europe is trying to do many things. So on the one hand, they are investing a lot in high-performance computing, in supercomputers.
Yeah.
We have the European Processor Initiative, where Europe wants to design its own processor that will be used in high-performance computing applications. At the same time, you also have the whole IoT community, the Internet of Things community, and they need smaller compute nodes closer to the applications. They call it the edge. This is not a big data center, but a smaller place, like computers that you find in cars, in factories, and so on. So there's a complete continuum from the sensor nodes that are battery powered up to the supercomputing center where maybe the high-end computations are being done, and data centers and everything in the middle. So our vision is clearly that we have to deal with the complete continuum from the very smallest to the biggest systems. And of course now in the recent years we focus more on sovereignty, because, well, we were dependent for chips and all kinds of components from the US and other places in the world. And now, of course, recently has become very clear that it's important to be able to have your own industry, to have your own chips, and so on. China is doing that, the US is doing that, and Europe now with the CHIPS Act is also starting to do that.
And
more than before.
Yeah. And you feel that all the activities and are making is moving forward. That there is progress in all this.
But well, there's one thing. So you can have a policy and a strategy to create more activities to produce chips and systems here in Europe. But you also need to have the talents. And that's a bit of a problem because we are lacking computer scientists and computer engineers to do that at a very big scale. So here too, HighPeak wants to promote the profession of computer engineer, I would say, and also train these people and also make sure that there's mobility. So if there are well-trained engineers, for instance, in country A and in country B, they are needed, well, we have a jobs website that can bring these two together to make sure that we make optimal use of the resources, the human resources that we have in Europe, and also attract talent from outside Europe to Europe.
Now, for June, there's a conference scheduled in Budapest. Yes. Important for HighPeak to meet all these people? What is on the agenda? What are if you're look at the wish list for this conference, to say, okay, it will be successful if this happens.
Well, the conference is a bottom-up conference. It's not the case that we are steering from the top. Look, this is now the theme of the conference. No, we have a conference, and that's something we changed about 10 years ago. We said, well, let's make a conference by the community. So every member of HighPeak can propose activities at the conference. So we have something like 40 activities that run during 3 days, and this is all bottom up.
Yeah.
And so some people say, okay, I did a very nice project. I would like to disseminate the results of our project. They can organize a workshop, tutorial, whatever they want. You can have a company with a new product. They can have a booth in the coffee break area and advertise their new product or new service. So it's really community driven. And actually, of course, we determine the keynote speakers of the conference, etc. But they are also always broad spectrum of interest to the larger community on some emerging topics. Now we have, for instance, a keynote on IoT innovations that we can expect in the coming years. So we try to educate the community on new trends. And for the rest of the community, just gathering and showing what they did. And also that we use the conference to disseminate the work, but also to hire, because there are many students coming to the conference. And people meet other people and then decide to start to collaborate, maybe to hire. So that's actually, it's a networking event.